Hello guys, welcome back to Max and Grayson. Today we're going to be reading How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss, aka Theodore Seuss, guys. Theodore was his first name, middle name Seuss, last name Geisel. Collector's edition. Shout out to my school because they're the school that I got this book from. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. For Teddy Owens. Every who doubted Whoville liked Christmas a lot. Oh no, so I'm going to be doing voices. But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps their shoes were too tight. But I think most likely reason of all may have been that his heart were 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart wore shoes. He stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows in their town. For he knew every who doubted Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath and hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer, "Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here." Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, "I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow," he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake up bright and early, and they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, noise. If that's one thing he hated, the noise. I think I'm becoming the Grinch. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. Feast. And they would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand the least. And then they do something you like least of all. Every Who doubted Whoville the doll and the small would stand close together, and with Christmas bells ringing, they'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this whole Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, "I must stop this whole thing. For 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?" Then he got an idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea, and this is the page. If you're watching my videos closely, you'll notice that is the cover, aka my most favorite page, because we get a good look at the Grinch. "I know just what I'll do." The Grinch laughed in his throat. So he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, "What a great Grinchy trick! With his coat and his hat just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No! The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. You know Max, right? Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn at the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. Oh, you Grinchy Grinch! You're the Grinchiest Grinch of them all! Wait, he's the only Grinch. Well, I do not care. Oh, their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house of the square, "This is stop number 1!" the old Grinchy claws hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fists. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little stockings all hung in a row. "These stockings," he grinned, "are the first things to go. No, the Who boys or girls." Then he slithered around and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. The tricycles not around the whole room, and he took every present: pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. And then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one. Then he slunk to the icebox, which is an old word for fridge. He took the Who's feast and the Who pudding, and he took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, the Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. I mean, their can of last can of Who hash. But that's evil. Leave them at least one thing to eat. Hey, hi, Fish from the Cat in the Hat. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," grinned the Grinch, "I will stuff up the tree." And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove. When he heard a small sound like a coo of the dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who, who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny new daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought of it quick. Oh, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. And I'll fix it up there, and then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head. Oh, she's so cute. And he got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went up the chimney and stuffed the tree up. What a terrible lie. And also, guys, the Lorax and the Grinch are my favorite Dr. Seuss books, so I can memorize some of the words from there, like the lie that he told her. I'm just looking at the pages because I'm multitasking. I'm reading a book and I'm recording a video and also making sure that you can see the pictures and the words if you want to see the words. And then the last thing he took was a log from their fire. And he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb, even too small for a mouse. Oh, that mouse looks angry. Then, sorry, it's a big word. He did the same thing with the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs too small for the other Who's mouses. Her pet. It was dawn. All the Who's still in bed. All the Who's still a snooze. When he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents and ribbons and wrappings and tags on the tinsel and trimmings and trappings. Aw, heck nah. Hey, it's the bird from the Lords. Hey. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Poo-poo. To the Who's. He was grinchishly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, and I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open in a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville all cry, boo-hoo. Hey, Max, you're not supposed to be putting your hand up to your ear. Only the Grinch. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that they must simply hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started low, and then it started to grow. I'm gonna watch all of them cry. What? I'm not crying. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, it sounded merry. Why does he look sad? Max, you're supposed to be a good dog, not a bad dog. It could be so, but it was very. He was down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. he hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came somehow or other. It came just the same. And the Grinch stood with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow. He stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Look how regretful the Grinch looks. And then Max. Did they both have a change of heart? Max, he's so silly. He's like, do. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say. But the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. With the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed the load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys, and he brought back the food for the feast. And this is my favorite page at the end because I can memorize it the best. He himself, the Grinch, carved the roast feast. Merry Christmas, everybody. And also, some people say, including my teacher, say that this is Cindy Lou Who. But if we look back on the few pages that had her, she looks like this. Not like this. And that's the end. I'm going to read everything else, if you're ready, including the description of the book. But first this. 100% of the net profits from the sale of this book will be donated to the support health of educational opportunities for children nationwide. For more information about Cole's company efforts, please visit www.colescorporation.com. No, that's a period. Coles cares for kids. Yeah, if you want to pause this video, go ahead. As long as you're searching up this website. And then, oh, no. Okay, this is just the same thing. From the first publication of How the Grinch Stole Christmas in 1957, our collective holiday spirit and that of the generations to come will never be the same. Created to protest the commercialization of Christmas, the story's pink-eyed protagonist with a heart 2 sizes too small. With those 2-line things, that's when someone's talking or a quote from the book. Ultimately learns from the tiny Who's that Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And there are those lines again. One of the most beloved children's book authors of all time, Theodore Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss, I told ya, wrote and illustrated 44 books. And these books, he quite simply changed the landscape of children's literature. Random House, www grinch.randomhouse.com. And there's the Grinch again. Oh, let's just look at the first page we see him and then the last page we see him. The first page we see him, he looks so grumpy. Like, look at me and say, that ain't a Grinchy face. And the end. Look at him and look at me. And if you don't say that that is not a non-Grinchy face, there's something wrong with you. No offense to my viewers. I have no idea why I was frowning. And if you're wondering if I'm going to read any more Dr. Seuss books, yes. Next, I'm going to read The Cat in the Hat Comes Back. Then I'm going to read The Lorax, and so on and so on. Have a Merry Christmas.